when you talk about content, right? What goes in the
Yeah.
background of creating content? Like, how do you measure if it did well? Especially when you're starting out, you don't initially get a lot of views or feedback on. Was that the desired result that you expected from the content that you posted, be it on whatever platform?
That's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. Um, when I started off the YouTube channel, at least I can tell you about this. When I started off the YouTube channel, I made sure that I knew the platform inside out. Right? There's some people who say there are dark parts to YouTube. I went through those as well. I went through the darkest and the brightest parts of YouTube, and I was basically I managed to scour the platform left, right, and center, and then say, all right, this is sort of the platform I'm going to work in. I need to create a niche for myself. With that said, I think it's very important to understand what kind of content will sell, right? Because it's like a chicken and the egg kind of situation where you're like, am I marketing my content right and therefore I'm getting views, or will I get views and then will my content boom up? Like, will the views boom up? Like, which way do I go? Do I market the content or create good content? And I think both go hand in hand, right? But my thing is simple, right? You can't have a decent marketing campaign for your content if you don't have good content in the first place, right? A good marketing campaign can sell anything. Yes, true. But once people start to realize your content is BS, they're not going to be able to sort of relate, and you lose credibility at the end of the day. Like, people will say, all right, this guy is bringing up content, fine. Like, if you look at my YouTube channel, there's a lot of repetition. There's like interviews. But if you look at every interview, even if it's two people from the same industry, you're not going to get similar content, right? Like, I've got three actresses on my channel right now, and when you listen to the interviews with all three of them, they're all talking about very different things in their life. I'm not only talking about their own lives, I'm also talking about aspects that are relevant to their careers and things like that. Okay? So there is a variety. What I feel about content creation, and this is how you create good content, like you asked me, like what will sell and what won't. You have to be, first of all, very aware of what platform this content is going on. So you need to do your research very well, and you need to find a hole. You need to find a niche for yourself where you can fit in. You look at the shape of this niche or this hole, like I'm taking that analogy, right? You shape yourself accordingly and you fit into it. If you don't do that, you will just be piling onto a huge stack of people who are already in that hole or already in that niche, right? And that's not going to get you anywhere. Once your intent is clear, which niche you want to tackle, with what you want to do, okay? Once your intent is clear, you, first of all, when you're sitting down, you need to put it in words. Okay? Even though you're not going to show it to anyone, make a document for yourself, because while writing you will understand, okay, these are the things that I need to accomplish, these are the goals that I have for the entire channel or whatever that you're creating. Maybe it's Instagram content, maybe maybe it would be TikTok content, whatever it is. Once that intent is clear, figure out a way to execute that. Okay, figure out what it's going to look like visually. And once you're done doing that, once you're done actually making the content, ideating it, maybe even creating a prototype for that content,
Mm.
look at the impact. I think that is where everyone suffers. Okay? And this is a theory that I talk about. It's intent versus impact. Okay? If you intend to do a certain thing but your impact is very different, you're not going anywhere, right? uh, I'll give you a very simple example, right? If the intent is, if I say something along the lines of, all right, I don't like Apple at all, I mean, it's made in China, but whatever it is, I'm just doing what I'm stating a fact. But the impact that it could have, in because of the way I've said it, is, oh, this guy doesn't like products made in China. Do you get what I mean?
Mm.
So if the impact on the audiences isn't exactly aligned with your intent, first of all, there's going to be miscommunication, which is very obvious. I think all controversy in the content creation world happens because of this. Like, we just saw Shane Dawson and the whole Carmageddon thing happening. All that is just, it's just, every content creator has sort of messed up the intent versus impact thing at one point in their life, and that's why all these controversies happen. So when your intent and impact are aligned, Okay, that's a good thing. But if it's not, you'll have miscommunication. More than anything else, people will be confused because you have identified a niche for yourself. You're wanting to attack it, but because of the way you're delivering the content, you're not able to do that because your impact is something else altogether. You're not shooting yourself through that hole. You're not going through that process. You're not fitting in. You are in turn creating content that someone else has already created, or making it in a form that does not necessarily achieve the goal that you wanted to achieve. Once your intent and impact are aligned, it's definitely going to sell. If you've done the right research, you figure out the intent, you do it in a way where the impact is if not equal to, then at least close to the intent, you're through. Your content will sell for sure. Like I mentioned, like when I started the YouTube channel, I was going through a lot of different videos and channels in general. I was trying to figure out all small and big. I was looking at successful channels as to why they were successful, and I was looking at unsuccessful channels, why they were not so successful, right? And what I realized was it's the there were a lot of issues in terms of content creation that people were facing. Like they weren't able to put out very personalized content. Some of them were putting out very repetitive content. Some of them were did not find a niche, and they were just trying to stick themselves into a content driven thing where everyone's doing it. So if I do it, I will also be successful. That's not how it works. um, the the need to gain popularity, or the need to fulfill a certain goal to success, took precedence over actual creation, took precedence over the actual process of creating that content, the actual process of going about making things happen. And when that happens, you are just so focused on your sub count. You're just so focused on how many views did I get? How many views did I get? What's my reach today? What's my click through ratio? I mean, okay, fine. I get that you need to take a look at it, but that shouldn't take precedence over the actual process of creating content. Obviously, you've got to market that content. I'm not saying if you don't market that content, it's not gonna pick up. It will pick up, but it'll be much slower. Right? Then you also need to figure out how do you sell the content. Content selling or media marketing is that phase, or that again you have to do your homework on that as well. But I feel if your content is good, it will sell. Maybe not today, maybe, I don't know, months from now, weeks from now, whatever it is. I was just looking at one of these statistics which said for an average YouTube channel to reach 1000 subscribers, the average amount of time taken is 22 months.
Oh.
I did the math, right? And obviously it's an exponential curve. It's a very exponential curve. I remember when I was doing this whole thing, I was like, how many subs do I need in the third month to be able to reach 1000 in 22 months? I had done all the projections and things like that, and I figured if you have close to around 80 to 100 subs in your third month, you're looking good, because eventually the curve's going to go up. It's an exponential curve. It's not going to be a linear growth. You're going to slowly and gradually gather and jump the number of subs again and again and again. And by 22 months, you're going to hit the 1000 wala mark. What I didn't realize then, and this is why I crossed 1000 subs very quickly, is that this is a varied sort of approach, right? There's the variance in this is huge. There's some channels who do it in a week. There's some channels who do it in a few months. There's some channels who do it in a few years, right? The variance is too huge. So I think with every channel, with the nature of content, and if intent matches impact, it's a good way of going about selling your content quickly, because you are like any consumer and industry relationship. You're selling to a client at the end of the day. You're giving them a product that they have been looking for, or they have been asked. One thing is clear: everything in life, everything in society that is scarce or that does not exist previously, that is innovative in that matter, will always be valued. So if that's what is being delivered, then I mean, you're through. That's how you grow quicker, and that's how you get there. Yeah.